Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm happy to invite everybody to get in the gap today. Today is June the the
11th,
I'm so,
right?
yeah, today is June 11th. I'm sorry, you guys. Today is June 11th, and I got my co-host here. I got Nia Armandi, and
Hey,
I
what's going on, everybody?
and I have OG.
How y'all doing?
I so today I know everybody's been buzzing and buzzing about what happened earlier this week with the graduation situation. Just want to get some opinions on how they feel about it, about going to places like that now, and what they think about what really happened. Is there more to it? Um, Neil, I'm gonna get your perspective on it first.
I think that it's very heartbreaking. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not. It's very heartbreaking. I mean, when you as a child slash young adult, you work so hard to get to a space, to get to a place, and you know what your parents have put in, how they've supported you and everything. I mean, like that's a moment that you actually um live up. You that's a huge accomplishment. So the fact that it happened right there outside, and you and your father, it's like that's just so unbelievable. It's just so unbelievable. It's heartbreaking. I couldn't even imagine how the mother feels. I couldn't even imagine how the mother feels.
what you got to say, OG?
I'm still I'm still confused and perplexed by it. It's just so hard to imagine that it happened, and I couldn't imagine coming out of that place with my children, my family, after we have reached this milestone of graduation, and then gunshots just start firing. And no doubt some kids saw, because once you get hit like that, you're gonna lay on the ground. And there was so many people right there where he was. That's extra shocking. But then there's the bigger story of what's happens behind the scenes for that to happen. Nobody just decides, I'm just gonna walk up and shoot this dude at his graduation because I
Ex-
don't like him.
Exactly,
You know.
and I do know it was a lot of behind the scenes talk about. Uh, People have been calling me all week about it and sending me pictures of his Instagram before they try to take it down. And he was into a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just oh, I'm just gonna randomly shoot this guy.
Yeah,
It was more of a backstory to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
his
that's not
head
an
was targeted.
excuse. Yeah, it's not an excuse, but
Or not at all, not at all.
again, we got to target the lifestyle. We got to get involved with changing the lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, that we just have to do that.
And unfortunately, this goes back to last week's episode when we were talking about the kids and the guns and the parents being responsible and everything. I mean, this kind of goes back to that because you can raise your kids the right way. You can raise them up good. You can teach them how to be human, be decent human beings, do well for themselves, be kind to others, and all that yada
But
yada yada.
that
But at
that
the same time, when they exit your presence, you don't know what they're into.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Neil. But in this instance, the mother kind of condoned what he was doing.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then she got on the news and
and try to defend it.
Yeah, and then she was being all like he was this great, great, great person. He may have been, but
He still,
he still
yeah,
had issues. He was
yeah.
doing things, you know. He was doing things. So I see you, Neil. You on the point. Um, it's just our young people. We losing them, and we losing them fast.
Quick,
We
because
losing them. We losing them
I
fast.
think it was like 6 more shootings after that, right?
What?
It was
Six more,
12. It was 12, like within 3 days.
yeah, within 3 days, yeah,
Dang.
yep,
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
You know what? I absolutely feel for those who had nothing to do with it,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
because,
they the main victims though. The people,
yeah,
because once you see somebody die, you never lose that thought.
Mm-mm.
no. How could you
Nope.
forget how could you forget this graduation for yourself? You know what I'm saying? How can you forget that? You can't.
Yep. You know, and death is just not. It's just not easy. Even though they may have been into stuff, what they did, the people that love them, it's just a terrible loss, and to have to be right there, you know, because this happened. And I'm just gonna go here real quick to us twice in 2 days.
Yeah,
Go to my nephew to the hospital, but I saw the picture where he unfortunately passed away. And the next day, we got a call by my brother-in-law. So, and I did see his body, and I don't want to see that again. I know I
Right,
will, but I don't want to. You know,
right.
it's this stuff is that's not easy. It's not easy at all,
Hmm.
and we got to do something to change. And locking them up is not the answer.
It's
no,
not.
You know,
no,
the lieutenant governor, Winsome Sears, whatever, who's a black lady. I don't know if y'all saw it,
I
but
saw it.
she made it down to the scene, and she gave the typical right wing response. We got to lock them up and keep them locked up. What do you think? How you think the family feel? That's not showing empathy to the families or the people around there. That's the
Nope.
typical conservative message. Let's just lock them up and keep them locked up. But the only people they want to lock up is us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
those are the only people they want to lock up because now drug addicts, because they hooked on heroin and fentanyl, they have mental health problems.
I'm
We
tired
can't
of mental
send.
health being a crutch.
Yeah, we can't. They don't want to send them to jail. They want to get them help.
yeah.
Even if they deal in it, they want to get
But
them
but
help.
but but you know that's when the whole opium thing started.
Hmm.
When we were doing heroin and it was killing black people in our neighborhoods, it was okay. But as soon as it advanced to the white neighborhood, when the kids started popping pills and they started doing opium, oh, it's a pandemic. A
Yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah,
I
it's a
mean,
pandemic now, and they need help. They got mental health problems. It ain't
yeah,
the same thugs that we were labeled as. So
Right.
exactly,
these are
exactly.
type of things we got to change, and that's why I talk about voting. If you can't tell me seriously what you gonna do, how you gonna do it, when you gonna do it, I don't feel the need to vote for you because all we do is give people our votes because they say they're Democrat
Or they black.
or they
Hmm.
black, and they do absolutely nothing for
Nothing.
us.
You don't never hear from them
Absolutely
again after
nothing.
the vote.
You
You don't hear nothing from
absolutely.
them again.
Let's tap
And if
into the
you
audience and tap into our viewers and see if they have anything that they want to add to the conversation. Um, Miss Dorothy, Kiera, or Maxine, how do y'all feel about the topic we're on right now?
I
yeah,
I,
do it, they'll chime in.
Yeah,
I heard somebody pouring ice.
that's
Yes.
OG.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
That's OG getting ready.
How you know it's me? You always want to blame me for drinking.
Well,
we,
If the
we
bo-
have Key Ann with us, y'all.
if the bottle fit, wear
I, I wear it well too.
it.
Key Ann is with us,
Hey, do the
Miss
voiceover.
but
Miss
for some
Dorothy
reason,
responded.
More,
in reference to the political statement. They tell you
I
everything
got you,
until they
man,
get
man.
in office. You
okay,
know what,
okay.
Miss Dorothy? I was just thinking about this today. I have a bad habit of watching political TV shows, and right now I'm watching House of Cards. And the way that they wheel and deal and backstab and lie and don't tell the whole truth, I'm just
It's
like,
it's true.
that's a
It's true.
exactly.
It
It's
is
true.
It's
true.
true.
It is true.
And
That's the way they do
that's
it.
scary.
They
That
handle
is
that shit.
scary, man.
They
The
they handle
misappropriation of funds and
they
everything. It's
they
like,
handle that shit.
man, come
They handle
on.
they handle that shit like a business.
It's
Um,
crazy.
um, can somebody ask Kian to unmute her mic or put her mic on because we don't have her muted.
I'm here. You know, I
Okay.
was going to, I'm in
Okay.
the car today. I said, let me join in.
Where
How's everybody
It's
doing?
time
All
to
right,
get
how are you today?
juicy.
What?
It's
What,
time
man? What y'all
to
doing?
get juicy.
the
It's time.
You know what? I like that though. I like that though.
I think that he was waiting
Um,
on me today. He was waiting on me.
that's
I
that's what
like that one.
that's what we had it for. We had it for you.
yeah,
I
we would
figured
say
that.
Hit it one more time, OG. Hit it one more time, OG.
one more time.
One
To
more
get
time.
juicy. It's time.
I think that's why he announced me. How's everybody doing tonight?
Oh my
Everybody
Everybody
good.
gosh.
good,
Everybody good.
Y'all are hilarious.
What you got to add to this conversation, Kian?
boy.
Um, I try not. It
It's a
was
lot.
a
It's a lot to
terrible
unbag,
situation.
and
It was a terrible situation last
yeah,
week.
yeah.
Um, it was horrible. Some things that I felt. Um, and I'm sorry that I'm gonna say a child had to lose their life, and for all of the events that took place this week. Some of the things that and I'm not talking. Let me say it in a good way. I don't know if you've seen some of the posts that were made about the situation on Tuesday,
Yeah.
but it goes back to what I said last week about the parents knowing what their children have
Mhm.
as far as weapons. No, I don't know the parent, don't know the child, nothing like that, and anything was going on. All I know is the pictures that I've seen and a parent liking them. You know, I think that they should have somebody in the school system and in the the police department to monitor people's Facebook page, Instagram, and things like that. If you're under 18 and you have a weapon or weed or whatever, I'm dinging you. I'm
So
signing
Ken,
you. Uh-huh.
I didn't see any of the I didn't see any of the pictures. So what type of pictures
Oh,
were circulating?
he holding bags of marijuana on his head. He got a gun pointed to the camera. He doing all kinds of shit.
Oh.
Even the videos.
Oh wow. See, I didn't see all of
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
wasn't aware of that.
So that goes back to what I was saying last week. As a parent, you know what's going on. As far as she knew and the
And the
father
mother was
knew.
liking it?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
You can go back and look at it's on YouTube, the video. And I'm not. Let me put this out there because I don't want anybody thinking that I wish ill will on our child, husband, or anything like that. My whole thing is again we were talking about the weapons and parents knowing what their children have and out here on social media,
Accountability. Accountability.
and and it's too much of that going on. No, would it have saved his life if they didn't have a gun? I don't know. I'm just saying that nobody should have weapons like that. I have a issue with. Now I know that the superintendent was very distraught on the news. So was the mayor. The mayor made it. They even had the Surgeon General, that's from the federal government, calling and checking on the mayor's well-being because of all this stuff that's going on. My problem is, if it was so distraught for you as the superintendent, the mayor, and all of that, how did these kids see stuff like that
Thank
on
you.
a daily basis,
Thank you. Thank you.
and we
Thank you.
want them
Thank you.
to come to school and function just like we want them to function just like normal when things like this are going on in our neighborhoods,
Yep.
in our household and things like that. I mean, it was so bad that they shut school down. The superintendent was crying, and I mean, we very emotional. Which believe it or not, I was too. It was a horrible situation on Tuesday. But I'm an
Mhm.
adult, and I'm expected to go to work and still function. But what about these kids? That was traumatic. It wasn't just students at Huguenot. You got siblings, you got relatives, you got a whole lot of people that were there. But then
Right.
we expect these kids to go to school the next day. I mean, you look at it. That's awful. I think we got to have something in place for more mental health in the schools and in the
I agree.
households, because I know it's traumatic for the mother who lost her husband, her son, and her daughter was hurt. I couldn't imagine.
Uh,
Miss
well,
Dorothy
I
says
think
that
okay. Go
the
ahead,
police
man.
department do look at the Facebook pages and Instagram.
Not enough.
Not
Not
enough.
enough. Not enough.
Well,
So
I
but
know they do
I'm
look
wondering,
at
like,
it.
if they looking at them,
Hold
but
on.
if they looking
Hold
at them,
on.
what they
Hold on.
doing about it?
Hold on. Let OG say what he gonna
Nothing.
say. What you gonna say, OG?
what I was gonna say was that we have to start. There's people in place to do these jobs because us as normal people, we don't have a lot of access to people and policy. It's the policymakers, the people that we vote into office, whether it's city council, attorney general, sheriff, or whatever. It's their jobs to protect these kids in the streets. And like we were saying earlier, we put them in office and just let it go and don't hold them accountable. They're not going to do anything until it affects them. And that's what we got to do. And like I was in talk with this lady, La Sharice Aird. She's running for Senate. She texted me back and forth, and she was supposed to come on the show. A promise that she didn't keep. So now, and I'm gonna just say it straight up, and I hope she listened. What makes me want to vote for her? If she can't keep the promise to come on the show and tell us what she all about, yeah, her commercials can say something. It looks good. You leaving these little things in my door and all that, but I'm not voting for that no more. That ain't good enough.
But but
So
then but then on the other hand, you got a rapist running against her. So
I won't vote for neither one of them.
who do you
Who's
vote
running
for?
against her?
It's my vote. I don't have to vote for neither one of them.
Who's running against her? That's all.
Joe Morrissey.
Joe
Joe
Morrissey.
Morrissey.
Oh. Tell you how in tune I am to them foolish
Yeah.
politics.
But I won't vote for either one of them. It's simple as that. And she had her. If she would have said no, I can't do it. Whatever, that would have been
Then that's
fine.
one
But
thing.
but since
Well,
she
it's
said
just
she was
20
gonna do it,
minutes
I'm
into
gonna
the
call
show.
her out.
It's just 20 minutes into the show. She got 40 minutes.
No. She don't have 40 minutes. She don't have 40 minutes because she know about the show. She's seen the show. She know how it worked. I was very detailed about how it works. She just didn't do it. And I'm not gonna go into all what she said and stuff. I'm just gonna say she didn't do it.
And we already in the gap.
Yep. And
Hmm.
like, and I'm just gonna say this real quick. Dorothy said she could have called or said something. Exactly. All she had to do was say, "I'm very busy. I'm running for office. I just don't have time. I
She
can't do it."
bec- because
That would have
because
been fine.
actually she asked us. We didn't ask
Mhm.
her. We
All
just
right.
introduced it. We just introduced it to her, and she was like, "Oh, I would love to do it."
Yeah.
So But enough about her. But we do need to hold. We got to learn to. We can hold our elected officials accountable if we had to email them every day or call them every day. They don't like that. Their officers don't like that, and that just holds them, hold a gun to their head, so to speak, so that they can do what they went in office for, not just for the perks of being in office.
Right. Right.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Do we have
Totally
any other?
agree.
We have any other comments out there?
Miss Maxine put up some.
Some bombs.
Yeah, so I guess we on point. I guess we on point. We on point, Miss Maxine. Yeah, so
Fat Duck is in the building.
Fat Duck. When you walk in and waddle out.
Yeah. I hope he dropped some of that seafood salad off in the building. But that's
so
okay. I come
what
to
else
get
we
me
got hot?
some. And then okay, it's really rolling now. Some more news.
Oh, Frank. Frank joined in. Hey Frank.
What's up, Frank?
What's up, Frank? Tell us something. Say something. Get us going. Frank and Melvin, get us something going.
Yeah,
Not
tell
that
us
we tired of talking
tell
to
us
women, but y'all get us going.
yeah, tell us what y'all feel about the thing that happened at our trail. And y'all can come on online. You ain't gotta type it all.
And Kian has left us. She muted herself, so
She
Well,
has
it's
a
but
nice
problem.
that I'm glad we have some more males to help y'all out a little bit.
what's on your mind, Neil?
What's on Nia's mind? You know,
I think you asked the wrong question, but go ahead.
Well, I had to ask though. I had to do it.
why y'all do me like that?
I had to do it.
You asked the wrong question. We ain't even got that much time left.
Mm,
Ah,
mm, mm,
oh my
mm.
gosh, y'all terrible. No, but seriously, it's funny because when you were when we talking about accountability, um, that's been something that I personally have been trying to adjust to for some time now, some self-discipline and some accountability. My self-discipline, um, being that no one holds me accountable for it and I don't hold
Mhm.
myself accountable, that makes the self-discipline piece a little bit more challenging,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because I just do whatever I want to do when I feel like doing it, you know.
But see,
Okay.
So
that's the whole thing about that's the whole thing about you got to be across the board when nobody's looking. You
yeah.
you can't you can't just you can't just be a certain way because people are looking and watching. You got to be
Hmm.
across the board, so it becomes a normal thing that you do. It
Right.
ain't just it ain't you know how when you train somebody at work and
Hmm.
and you say, oh, I got to do this way because I'm used to doing it this way. If you do it across
Yeah.
the board the right way all the time, you won't have to change.
Yeah. Frank said the music got the kids gone. I can agree with that.
I,
Yeah,
I
I
can agree
I
with that,
I
Frank.
definitely agree with
Yeah,
it. I
I agree too.
definitely agree with it.
yeah, yeah.
But
But
this
and what Frank said about the music got the kids gone, and if you go back, they were saying on the news that that's where a lot of this drama started from music videos,
Yes,
and
yes.
what they were saying from music videos, lyrics and music videos, and that's where a lot of the issues started from.
Look at how many of
It's
these
not
young
okay for
rappers are getting murdered now.
I mean, I mean,
but we're talking about even the issue at the Altria Theater. A lot of that they said came from a music video, and that's sad when children, because at the time when some of these videos were made, he was a child. Children are having these videos up with guns, weed, smoking, and the lyrics that are being said. Now, don't get me wrong, we don't listen to some songs in our days. I swear I didn't know what Ride the White Horse was until I was in my until I was grown.
Exactly.
Or
Mm,
Ring My Bell.
mm.
I didn't know what a lot of those things, and I used to sing it all the time. But
Mhm.
Jamming too, right?
we didn't see videos. We didn't see videos like that. It's like you can't be in a video unless you got a gun. We had another tragic shooting where a middle schooler making videos at the house shot itself.
Mm,
And a middle schooler right here in Richmond shot
mm.
himself accidentally from, out here making videos and things like that. It's
Oh
not
yeah, I
okay.
remember that. I remember
It's
that.
not okay.
Mm.
And
Guns are not to
and
be played with. No,
right.
and
And but the
videos
thing
are nothing else. You shouldn't pick it up. Period.
about it is when the video that you're making and that they're putting out here on YouTube and sound, you should see an adult had to
But yeah, that's a new thing. Well, they've been doing it in Chicago. I'm sorry, Keegan froze, but
use
they've
to
been doing that in Chicago for a long time. They actually rival through rap videos. They
Yeah,
actually tell who they shot,
yeah,
when they
yeah,
shot,
yeah.
who they gonna and I mean, and it's just like
well,
the wild, wild western, and the white people and the
that's what
police
happened.
just sitting back looking like we ain't even got to do it.
That's what happened
They
to the
doing it
last.
for us.
That's what happened with the last shooting. They were saying that some lyrics were made, in reference to
Hmm.
a previous shooting.
Yeah, yeah. It's
That's
and
crazy.
yeah. Hey Neil, can you read this on what Frank said? I wanted us to touch on that. It's very. I think
Yeah,
that's a very
I
important
asked
point.
Frank to come into the studio and explain a bit more.
Tell them
He
how to
says,
get in.
Yeah, because he might not know. He might be new.
Frank,
I just want to remind people, if you are new to our page or if you've been on our page, please like, share, and follow in the gap so we can keep bringing this good content. If you like what you're seeing and you would like to see us more often, we got a big following now. We're growing, and we just want to continue to grow. So, like,
Yeah,
share, and follow our page, please.
and Frank and anybody else, if you go to the In the Gap page, the link is on there. It's gonna say StreamYard. If you see more than one, it's dated June 11th. So coming there, Melinda 80 Lewis Street. What is he watching?
What did Frank say?
Frank said, I think the parents need to give the kids a lesson on pride. I think he's going to try to he's going to find a link and come in the studio, give a little
Okay.
bit so he can talk about that a little bit more. Welcome, Melinda.
Hey, Melinda.
She mentioned 80 Lewis Street, but I don't know. Oh, he asked about okay. He asked about the show.
Who was that?
Her cousin.
Oh,
He's
okay.
he's a bodyguard in LA. Is it LA, Linda? And he's been bodyguarding for um people like actors and stuff like that. I mean, he got pictures with him and all that stuff. So
I know his job getting hard.
yeah, but he a real nice guy. But yeah,
I know his job getting rough though.
yeah, I know he is. I know he. I mean, I know he think about protecting himself a lot because
Hell yeah,
everybody
man.
everybody got a gun and everybody's crazy.
Everybody want to
You
wave
know.
it around.
Yep.
Everybody
Mm.
want to wave around the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, they all want to
And
wave around the money.
Mm-hmm.
somebody asked me. Somebody asked me why these kids don't value life. They were talking to me earlier this week, and
Mm-hmm.
I said because they haven't lived yet. They don't know about
Mm-hmm.
life.
Well,
You can't
and
you
to the
can't
life
value
thing.
you
I
can't
don't
value something
know.
you never live. You can't value something you never lived. When you 18, how much life have you really lived?
You
Not
have,
much.
but during
When I
those
was
18
18,
years,
Go ahead, OG.
No, I'm just saying if doing those 18 years is full of struggle, pain, strife,
Exactly.
depression, which is what
Exactly.
they're saying, I mean, they ain't got much to live for. That's how they
Exactly.
feel.
Yeah.
But some of them do,
I know
and
a lot of them do.
they still do it.
I'm gonna leave the camera for 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Y'all go ahead. I can hear you.
Yeah, some of them do, but they still do it. I mean, when I was growing up, I mean, it was plenty of money around. It was plenty of guns around. It was all of that, you know. So I mean, I value my life just as much then as I do now. So it's like it's a show. Why? And especially people trying to put on like they hard when you're not. You're not. You ain't about that life for real.
Yeah, I agree.
You are not about that life for real. You know, anybody can be anybody can be a gangster on paper, anybody can
Yep.
be an Instagram
Yep.
gangster, anybody can be a Facebook gangster,
Yep.
but when it comes down to you pulling that trigger for somewhat respect to prove your point, let me tell you something. I ain't got to prove my point to nobody. Ain't nobody got to kill, okay? Because Nia ain't going to jail for nobody just to say, oh yeah, I shot him. And then you want to get all of these mocks and drops on your face and everything for how many bodies you done took out and everything, bragging about it. That ain't nothing to brag about. That ain't nothing to
And the
brag
crazy
about.
and the crazy thing is they have created this fake gangster lifestyle, and it's so they do it so much that it feels real. And it comes with consequences that they don't even understand or realize.
Miss Dorothy
And,
said they be
and
trying to impress their friends.
that too, that too.
But they got but the thing they don't understand that there's no reset button. You can't
It's
go
no
back and start
reset.
over. Once you do
Nope.
it, you did it.
Yeah.
But but I just think as a community, whoever, teachers, all of us have to make these kids want to live. Get them something to live for. The just the lifestyle. We got to show them something better than that. If that's the best thing that they got, then we all fail. If being a gangster is the best thing that they got, we have all failed. Because being a gangster, really, when it first started, they had a purpose, and it wasn't just to kill rivals. They had real purposes. Even to the Crips and the Bloods when they first started, they had um um a message to deliver to the community. They were put there to help, but of course, disagreements always lead to violence, and that's when all that stuff started. But they had a purpose at first, and it wasn't just let's get together and shoot up our rivals. It's always been um little crews or whatever that you'll meet at the playground and fight and all that stuff, talk about it. But
Did Frank find the
it
link yet?
No,
I
I
don't
asked him.
know.
He hasn't responded yet. Miss Dorothy
Yeah.
said when they go to jail, ain't none of those friends gonna bring them a dime.
You got that right.
You absolutely right, Miss Dorothy. But look, doesn't that this brings me back to like way back when NWA first came out and they was trying to break through, and you had people that was trying to ban their music and say how unhealthy it was for the communities and everything. And we was, and I can honestly say I was one of them people out there who was, F the police, F the police, you know. So it's like it's just coming full circle, and I'm just seeing it in a different way because we are sitting here right now saying that the music has a heavy influence on the community. But you go back to when we were growing up to our NWA times, music was affecting the community then too. It was
See,
affecting us the
but
same way.
the
But
way
see,
they talk about gangster life was much different
yeah.
than the way they do it now. You know,
They're more
because what?
descriptive, popping
Yeah.
pills, taking perks, the bitch buck naked, throw money on her ass. I
Hmm.
mean, they more descriptive.
Yeah.
And
You
and, and,
know.
and, and the kids taking their lifestyle as a lifestyle to be led. But it's
Yeah.
not.
And the poor young ladies running around just 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 handing themselves out just with these
Yeah,
clothes, and they
yeah.
thinking that's just hooking up and all of that stuff is good and real, and it's not. Then,
But
you
that's not
could.
new.
I know, but it has never been that bad.
It's never been like this.
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 This that next generation.
Our culture, we losing our culture. We are losing everything,
I agree.
and I mean
I
we're
agree.
losing big
Is there
time.
any saving it?
We got to.
We have to try.
We got to
I don't.
try.
Yeah, I don't know if it's any saving, but we got to try.
We got to try. And that's why we exist. That's why In the Gap is here.
Yeah, but we got grandkids and stuff like the kids and grandkids and young kids and stuff. We got to try to protect their future. We have to do something. It's got to at least
Miss
try.
Dorothy says, Miss Dorothy said the ladies don't leave nothing for the imagination.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I agree with her
Nothing at
100.
all. I mean,
They
and what you
don't.
don't, as
They
you
don't.
realize, even
And
as a man, you don't want to see all that.
well, they always say sex sells.
I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it's this new girl named Sukiani or somebody. She from,
Mm.
I think she's from
Su-
Louisiana somewhere.
Suki
But
Suki Hana.
yeah, Suki, whatever her name is.
Ain't she
She
on the
talk,
housewife, the hip hop, loving hip hop?
yeah, but I heard her rap the other day, and she talked about eating somebody's ass.
Oh,
I'm like, what?
You
oh,
know,
okay.
She said he ate my ass. Now I'm eating his ass.
I
Oh,
mean,
I'm like, wow.
yeah, that's for that's the sale. That's where the narcissist attitude come in. It's the record labels and the artists. They care nothing but the bottom line. It's that dollar. And
And
I
they
don't
and they
know.
don't and they don't care who they destroy with in the interim. They don't care who they destroy.
Yep. And that's how
is
America
it
has
where is
become.
the level of self respect?
There is no.
I mean, I can't say when I was growing up and you know 120 pounds lighter. I mean, yeah, I used to like the little mini skirts because I'm tall and everything. So I got
Yeah,
them legs. You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? Ain't no the men
Okay,
love the
Didi.
legs, but okay,
Okay,
okay, okay,
Didi.
okay.
Okay, Didi.
But
Stop.
Yeah,
I mean
okay.
that
You
was
already half naked on the
Come,
camera, so
come back. Come back. Come back.
oh,
yeah,
Come
come
back.
but
back
that
now.
was
Come back down.
that was
Come back.
still a level of respect that was still a level of respect as a woman. As a young female, it was just still a level of respect for
And,
myself.
and
But
let's make it
in
clear.
the schools, you have that issue because before, if we wore stuff like that in school, they would send us home, make us cover up and everything like that. Now you cannot say anything to a child about what they're wearing to school.
Have you seen what them
And
people wearing to school?
oh, I know what they're wearing.
Ooh.
I know what they're wearing. And
Mm.
that's the thing. But then when you say something, the first thing the parent is hollering out is, don't say nothing to my child about her clothes or his clothes. Um, then they're telling you, well, did you buy them? And then next thing you know, you in
Exactly.
trouble because you done said
Exactly.
something about it. And then, I mean, it's, I don't even say anything to them.
I at one point in time I wanted to be in the school system. I wanted to be a school counselor at one point in time. And I was like, yeah, I better not do that. And then I went to the training to be a school bus driver, and my child was like, "Mom, don't do that. That's not for you, Mom. Because
I'm,
this thing right here.
Oh, I know. I
Mm-mm.
would have. I know I would have got locked up because I'd have beat one of their ass.
Even down to when, if you pay attention, when children get on the school bus now, and you riding behind them and you waiting like you supposed to, children coming out walking to the bus,
No,
not
like ain't
even putting a little pep in that step, and you better not blow the horn. You better not try to go around. Well, you're not supposed to go around, but I'm just saying, like,
they be
and if
taking
you
their
leave them
time.
as a bus driver, if you leave them, next thing you know, they're calling the school, but she left him and all that stuff. You know how many times I had to run to the school bus?
Don't no kids run to the school bus no more.
No, because,
The
No.
and
school
then
bus
when you say
drivers,
something
the
to
school
them,
bus drivers don't even pick them up at the bus stop. I remember
mm-mm,
when my child was in school, I was like, when the bus stop start being in the middle of the road. I mean, it's supposed to be at clear
Mm.
stops, but I mean the bus stop will stop at the corner. My daughter could be coming out of the house and the bus will stop at the house to pick her up and keep on going to the next one. When we start doing that?
I mean, the kids dictate, but and I also want to make this disclaimer. It ain't disclaimer. It's not just us because we had Donald Trump as a president, and the country couldn't be worse off than it ever has been electing a man like Donald Trump as president, and he's got thousands, maybe millions of followers who think just like he think,
And he
and they are
most likely to
very
go win.
dangerous.
He most likely to go win again.
Yeah, he is
Yeah,
very
that joker say
dangerous.
he is gonna run whether he convicted or not.
Yeah, and the people that follow him is very dangerous. And we have to keep abreast of that stuff because we're talking about the damage our teenagers doing and this and that too. But there's also damage being done at higher levels that affect us just as much. And we don't pay attention to that stuff. It makes a difference because some of the things he did while in office affecting us still to this day, and it's not just him, it's the whole political field that we have
Agreed.
to be careful of. Not because we can't just say a Democrat and every black face ain't black. We got to stop doing that. We got to get up off of that.
Yeah,
And I
agreed.
mean,
Agreed.
so the America as a country really is,
In
man,
shambles.
we slipping, man. We
But
slipping.
they say even snakes shed their skin.
Yeah, exactly. We are slipping. And then we
It's a
sitting
scary
here
time now, It's a
and,
it's a
and we
scary time.
and we let anything happen in our communities. And I was telling y'all not too long ago, about
Uh-oh.
All these Mexican restaurants.
Oh, my
The other
girl in
day I
here.
took my grandson to Dollar Tree. There's another one opening up on 9 Mile Road. They
Yep.
have infiltrated this area, and everywhere you go, I went to Southside. I went even in the West End. They got Latino markets, and man, you would think that they were actually born here.
Yeah, little Mexico.
Yeah, how come? How can they can be so poor, come over here in flip flops and jumping fences and shit, and now they got all these stores? We've been here for 400 plus years, ain't got one goddamn store on no corner.
Come on, jump in, Kiara.
I mean, what's wrong with that picture?
Who was that? Who was that? Nia. I mean, you ain't tell her hi or nothing.
Yes, I did.
Yes, he did. I was talking.
I'm listening at the moment. I'm trying to catch up.
Oh, okay. Hi, Kiara. How you doing?
Good and you?
That goes back to that immigration thing because it that goes back to immigration. I mean, you have people coming in who they don't pay taxes or nothing. They're doing the work. We've had this conversation before on the show.
Mm.
They're doing the work that our community, people in our community, don't want to do. They're sticking together, and that's one thing that I see, and I see it in so many. I see it in different communities. One of my neighbors is from Jamaica, and her family has a whole compound over there. So what they've done is the family bought a big piece of land, and everybody helped build each other's house on their land that they bought. You know, we our community, we don't think like that. We don't we just not tight knit like that. You know, and I look at
Mm-mm.
a lot of ethnicities that are, you know, I have down the street is a Hispanic family. Well, there's several Hispanic families in my neighborhood, but I mean, they
But but
all
but
are so tight knit, you
but do you
know.
know? But you know why though? Because that comes from back years ago when they made us divide each other. You know, they'll like that come back from slavery. Um, we were made to not like each other,
Mm-hmm.
not want to help each other. And when you see those other ethnicity, I can't say the word. When you see those,
Ethnicity.
yeah, when you see those other, they wasn't brought up that way. That's not the way they was brought up to help each other. And we got
See,
Juneteenth get ready to come. We got Juneteenth get ready to come up, and a lot of people don't even know what it's about.
Man, you
Mm-mm.
probably have more white people who celebrate, and you have more.
I
I'm
s-
sorry, you have more black people celebrating the 4th of July than they do Juneteenth.
yes,
and I
they
saw
do.
and I saw a
Yes, they
banner.
do.
Somebody sent me a picture of a banner where it was a bunch of white people celebrating Juneteenth.
That
I
was
was like,
me.
oh, I knew somebody sent it to me.
Yeah, that was me.
You know, Nia, I wonder if I
Okay.
don't know if it's that we're not close knit or not, but I wonder if we just never had the means to do it. Like, how many of our families still have land to this day where we could have a compound? Because, you know, we've been actually talking about it, OG and my mom and my sisters, we've kind of floated the idea, but you know, a lot of us don't even really have the means. You know, that 40 acres and a mule we were supposed to have, we never got that. But I feel like if we did, what you said in Jamaica could be a reality. I was actually just in Charles City yesterday, and a black family, they have like 50 acres out there, and they have
Yeah.
plenty of family members who have homes out there. I mean, it was at least 15, 20 homes that I saw, and each one had a decent amount of space. So
And you know,
I
they
think that,
probably pulled what monies they had together, and they
Mm.
probably, you know, okay, everybody, we gonna build this house. Everybody gonna stay in this house, you know, and then they build from there. Now we're gonna go to the next house. Now we're gonna go to the next house. I mean, there's just a
Okay.
I just feel like there's a way that we can do it, but there's something blocking right there that's
It's the
keeping
mental.
us.
It's the
It
mental.
what,
is that
but,
and
go ahead.
go ahead, Kia. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they were fortunate enough that their land has been passed down. They didn't have to do anything. Their
Mhm.
whatever their parents got into, you know, was inherited down. But how many black people actually have land that they're inherited down? Or if they do have
And
land, then someone at some point has to sell it for whatever reason. So, you know, I also know that the real estate market is not for us.
well,
You
here,
know, and it's been
yeah,
proven time and time again that that's not for us. It's designed to keep us from participating.
Look at Churchill. Look at
here's
some Highland Park areas.
here's the bigger picture. What's happening is the Latinos, the Arabs, and everybody, the Puerto Ricans, all them, I include them in it. They all black until they get what they want. And what's happening is they are using the programs that's designed for black people to achieve what they're achieving. That's what nobody's talking about. That's why now when you hear politicians talk, it's all about black and brown people. So they include them in the policy, but they don't treat us equally. They
Right. Yeah.
use us,
Yeah.
they use us to create the policy to help the brown people. And
Exactly.
that's where we come into trouble when we start falling for all this politician, black and brown people. It ain't no black and brown people. Black and brown people were not slaves, it was black people. Black and
Hmm.
brown people were not redlined when it come to housing and all that. It was just black people. And so when you include the brown people, they're talking about the Asians and everything. So we get pushed to the
Yeah.
back for our own policy. But
Yeah.
we don't do nothing about it. And that's what we got to come together. First, we got to come together to get our 40 acres and a mule, so to speak. Our
Yeah.
farmers get so mistreated that they have to put in suits every year to get the same monies and loans and stuff that the white farmers get. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it is ridiculous. And so I'm looking now. We have free. Free is trying to get into the show, but free is the software is saying your devices are not connected. So you have to allow the
Oh,
camera.
that's why you said that. Okay.
Yeah, you have to allow the camera and the mic. You have to allow us access, and then it would allow you to be on the show. So
Hey,
that's what's
Vanessa.
happening. We're not ignoring you.
Hey, Vanessa.
I was
Hey,
wondering
Vanessa.
where that came from.
So I
I
mean,
thought it
how
was a
y'all
typo.
how y'all feel about that? I mean, when it comes to voting or getting action from our elected officials. I mean, because that's why they're there. They have the power, but um, how y'all feel about us holding them to the
I,
fire to
I, I
do
mean, I
what they're
mean,
supposed to do?
I agree. I agree with you 100. But so many people do it for the money and the prestige. It,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to know. It's hard to know who's gonna do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well,
hard.
that's what's called pressure. Once they get in there and they don't do, because you can find whatever bill they signed, how they voted for each issue or whatever. You just got to be willing to do the work if it matters to you. If it don't matter to you and you just want to go to work every day, come home and close your door and shut the outside world out, you don't care about nobody but yourself, then that's okay. But if you care about the future, your children, your family, your friends, your loved ones, this stuff don't take long. You know, you can go to virginia.gov, find any legislations that been brought up, how any legislatures voted, and if you wanted to, you can go down to the Capitol doing legislation, and you can sit in there and watch, and you can even bring a bill to the legislature, if you wanted to.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yes, you can.
Hmm.
Yes, you can.
That's good information to know.
Yeah, but first you got to learn how to write it and how to
Yeah,
and
it got to be
yeah.
written. It got to be written a certain way.
But you can also contact people who do that stuff and know how to do it. Um, I don't know if Professor Morgan is still doing. One of my professors when I went to Richmond, that's where I learned all this stuff from, and she would gladly sit down and write a bill with you and show you
Hmm.
how it's done. So we need to get involved, and we'll get back to comments. But we do need to get involved.
Melinda joining in. She said the issue for us, we have to prove that we made it by showing what we have purchased versus building a portfolio to include land, houses, investments, etc. I can support that, Melinda.
That's where
You
most of our
know,
money go. Just things that.
buying fancy cars. You living in Gilpin Court, but yet you pulling up in a Porsche.
And you buying stuff. You putting your money into stuff that depreciates. You know,
Exactly.
it's not gonna be worth nothing. You know, it's shiny, it's
Exactly.
pretty. Yeah, everybody looking at you, but it ain't worth nothing. You can't even
But
sell
that
it for
hikes
what
up
you
your
think for.
status. That
Yeah,
hikes up your status right
For
there.
your
It's
na-
a
for your
status.
for your neighborhood.
yeah. For your
For your
neighborhood,
neighborhood.
we got to get out that mind frame. We got to get into a better mindset. You know,
Can the generation behind us get into that mindset?
No.
Kiara, join in, honey. What you think?
Um, I think that there are some of us who will, because a lot of people I know are focused on breaking generational curses, including not having something to pass down to the next generation. So I think it depends on if you're referring to my age group or the age group after me. The age group after me, I feel like they're a little bit more, let's get rich quick. Let's get a YouTube page. Let's make $1 million. We could get one time, one hit wonder type of people. And then you don't hear from them again. And then any money that they've amassed is already gone and they're back to working at, I don't know, McDonald's or somewhere. So I think my personal age group, I think we all that we have that on our shoulder. We have to change the dynamics. And or at least that's the circle of people that I hang with. But I can't speak for everyone else. With my circle, I know that we're trying to change the dynamics so that we can have something to pass down, so that we don't have to do all these GoFundMe's when someone passes away, or when something happens. We have the wealth within our families.
We're getting a lot of background noise from somewhere.
No, we have a new participant. We have Chartrice with us.
Hello, Chartrice. How you doing?
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to jump in real quick. Whatever, I can't remember the exact question, but I think the education piece is a big part of it. And I mean, once upon a time, we can talk about money and things like that, but I remember going to a training with this Black millionaire, and him talking about his grandmother being a washwoman and working and saving. And the way he became a millionaire is because he watched his grandmother work and save as a washwoman in the 1920s and slowly acquire brownstones that she then passed on to her family, and teaching them the value of land and property and saving and money. Like, we're lacking in the financial literacy department. So if your mama don't know it or your daddy didn't know it and nobody taught it to you, and like the young lady just said, like her generation, they're trying to get it because now there's these Instagram videos, TikToks, or whatever that they can get this information. But
You.
Chartrice, you broke up.
that's
we
not
lost
something
her.
we got. Oh, I said
The
if we didn't get it,
financial, the
like the
financial
generation
piece.
now, the financial literacy, that's a big piece. You can save
No,
and
and
buy a house.
I definitely agree with that. But I think too, though, with the Black. Sorry, go ahead. I agree
Chartrice,
with what Chartrice is saying. I think that the issue too, though, is if you really think about it, I guess speak generally, but when you really think generally, most Black people previously, I'm not gonna say now, they would paycheck to paycheck, living in, trying to make ends meet. There wasn't an excess of funds to be saving or to be put into anything. It was either you rob Peter to pay Paul. That's the infamous, the saying. So if we don't have it, or we are taught to be happy with getting a job and staying on for 40 years, we're never going to get to the place that our other races are, because we just don't have it. Our funds have always been tight. Now, I do appreciate the thought of saving, but again, if most people don't have enough to make it day to day, they don't have the funds to save. Or if they do, they have to touch it. So we have to get to a place where we have excess funds. Like I think they've changed the model, but the financial model is something like you're supposed to save 20% of your savings, 30% of it's supposed to go to your income. to your home. The other 30% is supposed to go to like your household fees and things like that. And then the other 10-20% is like, tithing and having fun. But how many people
But
those models?
let me tell you why disagree with some of that, because as a community, as a whole, Black people, we account for probably close to the largest spending groups in this American economy.
We are the largest.
It's what we choose to spend our money on and what we do with it.
Exactly.
We have plenty of money in our community. All you gotta do is look around you. like you said, all power. Look at the people in the projects. Ain't one of them that don't own a pair of Jordans. I mean, we have capital to do. It's not what we have, it's what we do with what we have. It's
Yeah.
not what we don't have, it's what we do with what we
And
have.
you look at the difference. You look at the difference. You can go to Riverside, Riverside Road, and you look in their driveway. They might have
A
some
Ford
exotic, but
Focus.
most of them got Toyota Tercels, Ford
Uh-huh.
Focuses, or
Mhm.
whatever in the driveway. But the house is
Mhm.
massive.
Mhm.
Massive and immaculate inside. I
Mhm.
mean, and I mean, like, but you look at us on the weekends, where we at these clubs paying 10, 12, $15 for a drink.
Yeah,
And
by the club. Go ahead, get the bottle for 200. When the bottle don't cost
yeah,
number $25.
$25. Yeah. Just think of the money that we throw away. And we spend it and they sit there and they just watch us fund.
And laugh and
Um,
laugh and
yeah,
laugh.
and we and our tax money and our money just fund all the programs. It paves all their roads. It gives their public schools get money. No, their private schools get money that our public schools need. But people don't understand that because they don't pay attention to what policy is. There's no way government money should be going to a private school, but it does. And the
Melinda,
public schools falling down.
Melinda has a comment. She said we have to change the next generation mindset. Instead of moving out to living in apartments, stay at home to save up to purchase a house.
And that
That
was
would be
what I was
nice.
gonna say next. So that's why I said I agree with Chartrice because I'm not talking about now, but previously they didn't have money to buy Jordans. Now there is, like I said, just an influx of money now. And so if you don't know or you didn't see somebody do it before, or like how many people in your family own a home? How many people know they own a home or didn't own a home until they were 40 plus? In theory, you're better off trying to buy a house at 18 years old because there are more programs and loans that will help you versus later on in life. But again, we weren't taught that you don't have to save up $20,000 to move to a house. Depending on the program, you can get a house for less than $3,000. So it's just it's we need like Sharti said, we need to financial literacy. We need to understand what that means, not just money, but
That's the biggest part. The biggest
yeah.
part
I
was
agree.
the education because even growing up in the projects, most of the kids dressed well when I was growing up. Most of them, had stuff because mama always knew so-called your uncle that worked at Philip Morris
Right.
or whatever who loved the project ladies. And they was dropping some dimes in there. You could get some. I'm just gonna keep it real. Uncle such and such would come by and you're gonna eat something good or you get some clothes or something. We just always took our money and did wrong with it.
Yep.
That's all it
Always.
is. Yeah, because it was
Always.
always we always had hustlers and we always had men with good jobs. People was around. It was ways to get paid, ways to get things. We just choose to flash with it rather than because you could find Cadillacs and Lincolns parked outside the projects all day long. Because you couldn't park in there because you ain't supposed to be living in there. But
Right.
they was parked outside them damn gates because the dudes was there. So we always had ways of making money. It's just what we did with it. Instead of keeping it and saving it, we put it right back into the pot. Their pot.
Yep.
Yeah, we definitely not keeping it in the community.
Gotta
And we
get
force our
lower.
kids out early too. Kids are not,
I was getting ready to
they're
say,
grown
Kara.
at 18.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And other cultures don't do that. You can go to Europe, you can go to the Caribbean countries, you can go to African countries. They do not put their kids out because they turn this magical age of 18 and they expect them to go off and go be great. No. And the white folks don't do it to their kids either. That's why they're able to go backpacking across Europe, taking gap years and all this kind of stuff because they do not do that. They allow them to stay at home, build their resources, not go out into the world in debt. But we want our kids to be grown and be accountable and responsible. as
Yep.
soon as, and it's a setup for our kids.
And we had to teach our kids too, like Melinda just said, they had to learn to be respectful. That's half the time we had to put them out because they think they bringing the street into mama and daddy house.
Now,
You
now
know,
that's what I was getting ready to say.
yeah,
That's what I
and
was
that
getting
ain't
ready to
gonna
say.
work. That's not gonna work.
Yeah. In a
Yeah,
hurry
but
to be
it's in our
grown.
middle class neighborhoods too, though. It's in our suburban. I can think of lots of parents that their kids are not involved in none of that stuff. And when
Mm-hmm.
they turn 18, 19, 20, they be like, all right, they got to get up out of here. They need to be paying a bill. They need to be doing this. They need to be doing that.
Yep.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't be responsible, but I am saying that don't encourage your kids to go get in debt before they need to.
Yeah, and I believe that
Yeah.
Especially if they
because
don't have to, because that puts us behind. That puts our
yes,
kids behind
Right.
the eight ball. No other
yes,
community does. They don't do that to their kids, and that's
because
another
around
reason
here,
why they're able to go off and buy all this stuff and go have these
mm-hmm,
experiences. And they start off with big bank accounts at 25 years old, or they come out of college with no debt.
yeah,
It's not because their
because
mom and daddy had it. It's because somebody taught them, no, sit your ass at home. You don't need to go out
mhm,
there and pay nobody $1,000 a month. Pay me 200. I'm gonna save it for you. And when you do, when you are finally ready
Yep.
to leave, here's a
Mm-hmm.
nice big old nest egg for you that you thought you was paying me, but instead I was saving it for you.
yeah, because around
Because
here in
you know
Sandston,
Hold on,
where we
hold
live,
on.
it's a bunch of adults that live with their parents, and you can see them. They got these big, humongous 4x4 trucks and these nice boats and stuff, and they can do that because they go out and work every day, but they live at home. You know, they able to save their money, enjoy their life, and do some of the things that they want to do before they move out. But and that's why I agree with Chartreuse. We got to learn to start doing that same exact
Yeah,
thing.
I agree.
You know, we
I
do.
agree.
You got to be
I think the,
smarter
the
than
the
that.
come to Jesus moment for me one time was so I work in pharmacies. I used to work in pharmacies back in the day, and the pharmacist had just gotten married and she just bought a house, Asian lady. And she said, my parents gave us the money for the down payment for our house. And she mentioned that it was like $30,000-$40,000. And I was like, oh, well, what are your parents do? She said, oh, they just, they worked at the cleaners. They did this, like nothing real, above average jobs, very mediocre people, and and I know that we know that money is a little bit different for how they come by it. But the fact that these were average Joes and they were able to give their daughter $30,000-$40,000 for a down payment for her house, it really did something to me. And from then on, I said to myself, we have to figure out how to get like that, because again, they didn't have degrees. These are non-degree people. Like, they were literally regular working people, nothing extraordinary about them. Very, very, average people. And they were able to give their daughter $30,000-$40,000 to put down on her first home.
Did they own the cleaners?
I don't know if they own it or not, but as we know, and as you know, as a person who used to own the business doesn't make it better for you. Sometimes it's a little bit harder on being a business owner. You don't make as much money. So even if they did own the
Evidently,
business,
they was making money because you can't just pull it out your butt. So they was
I mean, they
making
might have been
some
saving
type of
from day one or whatever. But the point is,
yeah,
they knew the financial, some kind of financial process to amass that money, whether they put it in
yeah.
CDs, stocks, whatever.
They
They know how
made
to
the
do it.
sacrifice. They made the
Yeah,
sacrifice. They made
yeah,
the sacrifice.
yeah.
All right, we got one more comment, and then I want to introduce a new segment to the show.
Melinda says, I'm a banker and those kids have trust accounts established or life insurance policies from them to be debt and stress free.
Yep, they saved that money for those kids. They passed that. But see, that's another thing though.
It go.
People don't understand generational wealth. And
Right.
that's why people don't like talking about slavery and stuff. But slavery was the passageway to so many different streams of untaxed income for so many families. It wasn't just the slave owner. It was insurance companies. It was people who sold to the slave owner. It was people who bought from. I mean, it created this whole great dynamic for families and people, years and years ago, and that money was so great that it's still going. That's how much money was made because it was free labor, free products. They took land. Wells Fargo was one of the biggest um contributors to the slave trade ever. And most people don't even know that. The Wells Fargo, look them up and study their history, and you'll see. But that's for another thing. And we're not ending the show right here.
But
So
hold on. Like I want to reiterate with that a little bit. But like Shatree said, it's all about financial literacy. If you don't know, you only know what you know. If you
hey,
don't
and
know, you can't do better.
so but you got to put that onus on yourself. And you got to learn because you ain't in school no more. They didn't teach it to you in school. You can't just keep saying, "Well, I don't know." You have to learn yourself, and that's what
Exactly.
going back to even knowing and understanding Wells Fargo is learning financial literacy. That's financial literacy because you
Mm-hmm.
learn about finances. You learn about accounts that yield money on your savings versus putting it in a bank that won't you know what I'm saying, you ain't gaining interest of. There's a lot of financial literacy out there, but you have to be willing to learn now for yourself. That way
But
you can teach your kids because
and
nobody's gonna teach it to you.
that's why I think we try to be better than our parents was.
Mhm.
Right.
And it's supposed to keep going. It's
And
supposed to
that's
keep.
what Yeah, and that's what you said, just like you said earlier. That's truly about what In the Gap is about. We're not here just to want to talk. We're here to get opinions and to feed information. And if we can get honest information, truthful information, it will be posted on our page. If y'all remember a couple of weeks back, we talked about the black mortality rate. I posted a couple of organizations on our page that helps with that, and we will do the same thing because we are here to help. We're here to reach the community. That's our angle. That's why we're here, and we
And
love
that's why
talking to y'all and
representation
everything.
matters.
But yes, yeah,
Representation matters, even to what you're talking about, man. I kind of hear what you. I hear what OG's saying too. But yeah, you can learn. But if you don't know what's out there, how you gonna learn something you don't know? Or even know that you don't know. And I think that seeing more people achieve the things that you thought were impossible is the key. Or if you have achieved impossible, reach back, pick up one. Even if you just pick up one person, bring one person with you wherever you've been. Reach back and pick somebody else up, and I think that that's the key for us. Until we do that, we still gonna be having this conversation 30 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
well, just like people Google Beyonce and her babies, they can Google financial literacy. It ain't that hard. It ain't that
I
hard.
don't disagree, but if they don't know what they're looking for, how you gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Financial
But
literacy.
yeah, if you can't, if it ain't in your mind to Google financial literacy, you deserve to be broke. That's the way it is. You got to put some of the you got to put some of the responsibility on yourself. You can't
Exactly.
we can't
Exactly.
rely on somebody to teach us. And we're not dumb. That's that same old shit they try to teach us when we were slaves. You dumb. We're not dumb. We didn't go to school, so we don't know what you know. But look at what we did in 200 years that it took y'all 7 or 8 to do. In 200 years, we had a black president. We learned your language, we learned your education, and we achieved far more than what you give us credit for. We invented so many things that you stole from us. And this is a people that you said couldn't learn. We were savages. We weren't even human. But in 200 years, we caught up with you and surpassed you. So don't tell me black people can't find their way to financial literacy.
I
But they
agree.
do have to have some exposure. I think about some of my friends that when we're talking, there's certain things that they know, and there's certain things that don't know. They don't know, and some of them are business owners. A lot of them have double, double degree. They're master level people. But some things, if you've had no exposure, absolutely none, and nobody
And
in your group has had any exposure,
I
you
I
just
agree.
you
I
may
agree.
not you may not know the question to ask, and unfortunately, or you may not even know that that is a question that you should be asking. And unfortunately, you can go in the bank. When the last time you went in the bank and the teller started talking to you about, well, let me tell you about this, and let me tell you, they don't do that unless you got big money and you going in there to sit down and talk to them and you set up an appointment. They're not talking to you about all that stuff, and some of them might not even know. I don't know, but that's not what happens when you go in the bank. Once upon a time, I remember when my grandma went into the bank, she had bankers that would sit her down and tell her certain things and would introduce certain things to you. The personal side of business and banking is essentially gone. You don't know your banker like that no more. I mean, they send you something. I mean, I got an account. They tell me online who my banker is every couple of weeks to change.
Miss Dorothy said, in my Ali voice, we shook up the world with Obama.
Yeah, and I hear what Chartrice is saying. I hear what Kiara is
I
saying.
I hear what both of them are saying, but I don't agree.
I don't either because if you can don't tell me the average person don't Google somebody's personal life or whatever and they can find that out. Ain't nobody teach you that. Ain't nobody teach you that. If you want a
Exactly.
recipe, you Google it. Ain't nobody teach you that recipe before you Googled it.
Exactly.
It's
But were you
all about
exposed to the recipe before you Googled it, or had you had it somewhere before, or you just
nope,
thought it just popped in your
nope.
head and said, "I want to have a sweet
If if
potato
if
pie,"
if if,
or
if
had
I
you
if I
had a sweet potato
yes,
pie
yes, I
somewhere?
did. If I go in the store and I see a cut of meat, like we did today, bought a veal chop. I've never seen a veal chop. We bought it, and I went to the internet and found out how to cook it.
But
It's
that was
as simple as
exposure,
that.
right? But that was
That was
Huh?
exposure to
exposure
the
to
veal
the
chop.
bill, though. You ain't know that
That was an
existed before.
exposure to the veal.
So we not exposed to billionaires and millionaires?
And we're not
Not
Ain't that
supposed to
not
what
on
we
a
business.
If
talking
personal
about?
all
basis,
you
no.
We,
exposed to, this goes back to what
Oh
y'all were
my
saying about the
God.
rappers. If all you're exposed to that are rich, people that are rich are rappers, then guess what you aspire to be? A rapper. Because those are the people that are rich. If all you exposed to are the drug dealers, then what do you go for? They got money. I
Well,
remember back in the day when people thought that if you worked at DuPont, everybody worked at DuPont and Philip Morris. Where do people want to work at? DuPont and Philip Morris. Maybe Reynolds. But
well, let
everybody
me
was
tell you
a job
something.
at
but
Let
DuPont
me
and
it,
tell
Philip
you.
Morris
Let me
because they
tell you
was
something
driving
about
around in the big
exposure. Let me tell you something about exposure. Exposure is where you place yourself. If that's your circle, that's all you're gonna be exposed to. You got
I
to
concur.
broaden your horizons. If you can't do that, ain't nobody gonna sit around and tap you on the shoulder and say, "Look, do this, do that." That's you exposing your horizons. That's you getting out and learning and trying to see what's out there. Can't nobody do that for you.
I don't disagree with that, but I still say in order for to get there, you got to have exposure. You got to know that it
I,
exists.
he,
Like I have a girlfriend. I never knew about her. Her dad. She come from plenty money. She started talking to me about the guardsmen and all these elite black social clubs. Some of them I had never heard of. It wasn't because I was not trying to be exposed to things. I'm not trying to be a part of it either. Some of them I just can't be a part of because I don't have enough money. That's not my lineage. But there are certain realities and certain societal things that does put limits on people. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying you shouldn't try to break through barriers, but there are also some realities. And so unless we're all, like Kiara said, you're going to go back and bring somebody along with you so that they can be exposed, because for some people, that's what it's going to take.
That's why you don't jump into quicksand. Quicksand ain't for you. That lane might not be for you. You have to find your lane, and that's where you focus on. You don't have to focus on the such and such club. That's their club. That's their thing. That don't mean there's not a place for you to succeed, to become successful, and create your own lineage. You
and
know,
because you,
sometimes.
No, I agree. But what I'm
Go
saying
ahead,
is,
man.
if you don't have people from all areas, like you just said, like expand your horizons. It's not that I would want to be. It's just the point of being aware of what is available if you did want it.
But you would
That's
never be
educating yourself.
you would never be
Right.
able to
That's
be
a part of exposure and
um
education. Exposure is nothing but education at the end of the day.
All
you would
right,
never
y'all. That
you would
was
never
a hot topic right there. We're gonna agree to disagree, but that's what we do right here in the gap.
I had something I
Well,
wanted to say though.
yeah. Well, you go ahead and
Y'all know
say it, man.
Didi
We
like
ain't got to
y'all
rush.
know Didi like to cut the time off.
Didi is gonna stay right here today, and
Because I mean, it could easily be 8 o'clock, and we still talking. And
no, that if
And
we
is it
let
a
that man
game
say what
coming
he
on,
want to
Didi?
say,
It's a
and
game coming on, Didi.
Chartreuse,
man,
mind your
go ahead and say
business.
what you got to say.
You would never be able to be exposed to every avenue that's out there. You never. But you gotta pick a lane that you can drive in. Some lanes might be too broad for you. It might be too out of reach for you. Some lanes you might not never know. You might not never know a certain route to where you gotta go. But
Yes.
you gotta pick what works for you
Mm-hmm.
and what lane you can drive in.
Right.
I've been driving in the lane for a long time. I'm getting older. I'm seeing, damn, I could have went that way. I could have went this way, but I didn't know that then.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to pick what lane was accessible for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always, as long as you live, you're gonna learn. The longer you live, the more you're gonna learn. You're never gonna know it all.
Yep.
There's
And you're
there's no
never
way.
too old to learn. You got to keep learning. You got to keep learning. Ain't nobody gonna tell you. You got to learn it for yourself. But before Neil give her closing, we come to a part of the show that we doing. We trying something new.
I
So at
need
this
to
point,
I,
this
I need to the thing we did earlier. I need that first.
yeah, and we got a new part of the show, and we want y'all to stay with us. Don't leave. Do not leave
To
for
get
this.
juicy. It's time to get juicy.
Let's get it.
So what we do is we introduce a song. We pick songs randomly that we play and we think about, we talk about, we discuss it, and y'all can um hit us up on the page. Let us know what you think about this segment, and if you like it, hit us up with songs that you like or
and,
whatever. So
we'll play your song the next week.
yeah. So just
Reflect,
just
reflect,
yeah,
reflect.
just reflect and roll with us. That's all we ask. So if y'all can do
So
that.
this was my song. This was my
Oh,
pick.
I know she was gonna say it. I know she was gonna say it. I
Knew
know it.
she
I
had
know
to
it.
say it.
I
I
know it.
knew she had to do it. So, but anyway, let's let her do that. So anyway,
It might not mean anything to any of y'all, but Nia wanted it.
it means something to her. So let's do it.
It
So
means something to me. It means something when the ladies here, it's gonna mean something to them too.
okay, that's what she says. So
Yes.
yeah. Wait a minute. Let me go back and get it. Y'all
OG,
go ahead
you
and talk
supposed to
for a
be
minute.
you supposed to be ready with the music
Uh,
now.
I, I I was definitely ready, but the
So
way we was
my reflection of the song that he is
Oh
trying
my
to
God! You might as well just
upload.
tell them all the lyrics. Then just go ahead and sing it for them. Shit.
I mean, I know that
uh,
too.
I mean, come. Go ahead and tell them about. Go ahead and start talking about your thing. What's
Reflection of the
going on?
song. Usher,
Yeah.
Bad Girl.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear them lyrics, yo something just come on through. You just flow through your blood, and you like, I'm a bad girl. Yeah, sexy lady.
this. Oh my
Yes,
God! Oh my God! This is the
I
funniest
need a
shit ever.
bad girl. What you need? I need a bad girl.
Who
Yes. That's that
who
little
sing
confidence thing for us girls. Yes. We can
who
hype.
who sing that song?
Ursha, baby.
But let him sing it.
Well, OG can't find it. Lord, it's gonna be 8 o'clock. We gonna have to work on this segment, y'all. We gonna work on this
All right,
segment, y'all. But
OG,
it's
we
okay.
got
It's
we got to keep
okay.
moving. We got to keep
We
moving.
gonna
Then go ahead
we
and
want to thank
close
y'all.
out there.
We want to thank y'all for joining in with us tonight. We want to thank y'all for all the continued support that y'all
I'm
continue to
just
give
messing with you,
us
Nia.
in and out, episode after episode. Next Sunday is Father's Day. We will be airing on Father's Day. So remember that if you have the opportunity, join in on Father's Day. We will be here. We would love to have a good representation of males here, fathers, grandfathers, uncles, nephews, and everything, So if you're available, come on and sign in, bring your family with you, and let's just have some fun like we always do. Remember to like, share, and follow. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening, and remember to tune in next Sunday. Maybe OG will have my music.
No, we're gonna
Hit
have a
us
different
up
song.
about the music, y'all.
Thank y'all, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night, y'all. I like that song.